How are you, sir?
This is Pierre.
Oh.
I can't believe I'm talking to you, Dr. Ray the Great.
Well, I don't know about that.
I love listening to you. You have a personality just like my father.
I don't think you should feel helpless. You are helpless.
Doctor, I really appreciate that. That makes me feel a lot better.
You be at peace, or else I'm going to yell at you.
Trying to find a reason to speak to you. I think you're the best thing since sliced bread.
That Ray, he's something.
Thank you so much for what you're doing for all the parents out there.
I don't know what I can possibly do.
I don't either.
I'm getting my money worth, I think, at this phone call.
Now, from the studios of Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio, the hometown of Mother Angelica, here's Dr. Ray.
It wasn't so long ago that people would say, you have a personality just like my brother. Personality just like my cousin. Personality just like my son. No. Now she says, I have a personality just like her father. Could be worse. Could have a personality just like her great-grandfather. Dr. Ray here. This is The Doctor Is In. This is the Friday variant. Speaking with the viral lingo. Look Back Friday, where we take some previous calls. Got Christina, Megan, Anonymous. And we, see, I always put we in. That's kind of like forced teaming. A guy named Gavin DeBecker wrote a book called The Gift of Fear, and he said one of the things your instincts have to tell you is when somebody is forced teaming, your instincts should go up, not necessarily just using the word we, but in a situation where you're ill at ease about this person, this stranger, having you accept his help. Okay, that's an aside. Anyway, so where you and I will listen to this previous call again, and then I, not you, will talk further about it. And there's reasons why I want to talk further about it, to explain it a little further, to go off on a tangent, to talk about a word that was used, to ask a question that I didn't ask during the initial call. Of course, I can't get an answer because their calls are recording, but I can ask the question and then answer it myself. I can do that. Now, I want to reiterate something that's really kind of exciting for me. I'm going to find this here, right? I've talked about this before. We are going down to Atlanta, wonderful big boomer station down there, The Quest. On August 18th and 19th, we will do 4 TV shows, Living Right with Dr. Ray. This is season number 17. Man, I looked at that first season and I thought, wow, is that my son? Is that my son doing this program? 2 tapings each day, 5:30 to 6:30 and 7:15 to 8:15. You can be part of the live studio audience. Years ago, when I talked with EWTN about doing a program like this, I said, can we please have a live studio audience? The studio audience, in my opinion, really adds to the energy of the show. They ask questions. They clap when they're supposed to clap. Sometimes they don't clap when they're supposed to clap, and then we kick them out. But they're a lot of fun, and we do bits with them. So if you'd like to be part of that live studio audience, we would love to have you. The bigger the audience, the better. The energy level is much higher. You can do all kinds of things with us. Sometimes we do role plays. You don't have to be part of anything if you don't want, but a lot of times the folks ask the greatest questions. So, 18th and 19th, down in Atlanta, The Quest, if you'd like to sign up. And you can sign up for 1, 2, 3, or 4 of the shows and bring all your kids. Man, we get one of these big homeschooling families with 9 kids. You fill up half our audience. That's okay. There's a psychologist right there on the premises in case something untoward might happen. You got your 3-year-old throwing a major league fit or something like that on international television. Go to thequestatlanta.com. There is the banner there. It says Living Right with Dr. Ray, and you can sign up. And the reason people have to sign up is because we got to know the numbers. If you stay for both shows, we will kind of feed you lightly in between the shows. But we do have to know the numbers, and I would suggest this. If you sign up, please do everything in your power to be there, because we count on a certain audience size, and if people sign up and then don't come, and we know who you are, It kind of throws the. we have to what they call strike the chairs, pull them away. So if you got 100 chairs set up, and 62 people show up, you got to get rid of 38 chairs, and one of them's mine. And I told him, hey. So, thequestatlanta.com to sign up. Be delighted to have you. Question I get a lot, probably in the top 5 maybe, in terms of parenting questions, is this. Is it normal? In other words, is what my child doing, is that grammatically correct? Is what my child doing? Is what my child is doing normal within the bounds of typical kidhood behavior? I get that a lot. Now, on one hand, it's a question that reflects there's an oddity here with my child. He's doing something that I'm not aware of any other kids that I know doing this. That's one level of that question. But the far more common level is, if this is normal, I'm not really all that bothered by it. For example, my 3-year-old throws meltdown fits, and these things just, man, they can go on for 20, 25 minutes if I don't give him his way. Is that normal? Now, what they're saying is, I know 3-year-olds throw fits, but is that too long or too intense? My 14-year-old daughter can be really surly. She can have this kind of snotty tone of voice and rolling her eyes. Oh, yeah, right, Mom. Whatever. Now, I know that 14-year-olds are they can be that way, but I'm just wondering if she's too much that way. The question is not really, is it normal? Because it is normal for 3-year-old to melt down, and it is normal for 14-year-olds to get surly if you let them. That's not the question that guides your parenting. The question that guides your parenting is it good and right? 3-year-olds can melt down. It's not good. 14-year-olds can get snotty and disrespectful. It's not right. The question is not, is it normal? Sin is normal, if you want to call it endemic to the human condition. It is. Everybody sins. But it's not good or right. And I think that's the question that guides you as a parent. Yes, this is, quote unquote, to be expected from a 6-year-old or a 9-year-old or a 12-year-old or a 17-year-old. Yeah. But that doesn't make it something to overlook. That doesn't make it something to shrug off. That doesn't make it something to look at and say, well, it's a phase. It's a phase. See, the problem with phases, especially behavior-wise, if you don't deal with them, they go on. A 3-year-old who throws fits, and the parent says, well, that's just being 3. Yeah, he does that. He just throws fits. Well, what do you do about it? Well, we don't do much. He just gets all upset and throws fits and carries on and gets really ugly and nasty, and sometimes he'll kick things over. But that's 3 years old. Well, there's a pretty good chance he's not going to outgrow that. And he's going to be 4 and be doing the same thing, only he's bigger, kick harder. 6, be doing the same thing. So the phase, the 3-year-old normal phase, didn't go away. Now it's a 6-year-old phase. Not unusual for parents to tell me that their 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old has these meltdown eruptions. Now, temper outbursts are reasonably normal for a 2 and a 3-year-old. What's happening is that they're becoming more normal for a 10, 11, 12, and 15-year-old, which is not good. Not good at all. So just because a behavior is normal doesn't mean that it's acceptable. It can be real nasty or defiant or ugly or unpleasant. Is it normal, in my experience, has replaced is it good as the question that is asked way too often. If I were to say to someone who says, is it normal? And I said, yeah, that's pretty normal. What would that mean? Would that mean, therefore, it's okay? Would that mean, don't do anything about it? Lying can be pretty typical when you're caught in an offense when you're 7 years old and you're scared to death of the consequences, so you want to get out of the consequences, so you lie. Now, if a kid were to do that, I wouldn't be all that shook. I'm thinking, okay, he was cornered. He didn't want to admit to it, so his first move was not to tell the truth. You want to call it normal, I guess you could call it normal. Maybe you'd call it typical, maybe expected. But my question for you is lying okay? Is it good and right? No. So if it's not, it doesn't matter that it's normal for the age. What matters is what you're trying to teach. And if you're trying to teach, this is not good, this is not right, or to use value-neutral language, this is unacceptable, inappropriate. I always wanted to go to confession. Bless me, Father, for I have been unacceptable. Not I have sinned. That's negative value-neutral there. Be careful of the is it normal question. It has implications that kind of imply that you don't take action to teach. When I come back, we'll get to one of your look back calls. I'm Dr. Ray. I'm Dr. Ray. This is Dr. Ray. I'm Dr. Ray. I'm Dr. Ray. Dr. Ray. I'm Dr. Ray.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
It's Dr. Ray Guarendi here at the program. Dr. is in, variant of the program. Look back Friday. Got this question from a mom. She said, I know you're not a medical doctor, Dr. Ray, but do you think I should have a baby after 40? I'm not a medical doctor, but it would seem to me that 40 children is enough. Don't you think? Okay, let's see what we got coming up here. That amount of time. Let's go to an anonymous female. Oh, Pennsylvania, PA. Okay, let's talk to her.
I really need help with an ongoing, double decades-long situation. My ex completely undermines me with every parenting thing that I've ever tried to put in place for my two girls, from seatbelts to car seats to junk food to any kind of discipline, chores. Along with that, he's very abusive in every kind of way. Lots and lots of money. Every time I try to discipline, don't listen to her, she's unstable, this and that. And, then they're walking around with, literally $5,000 bracelets and $1,000 shoes. And I don't know. My children hate me because I've never been able to mother in a space where I've been able to not be upset, crying, and miserable. And they think that...
How long ago did you divorce?
15 years ago.
And the kids are how old now, Mom?
They're older. They're 15 and 23, but the undermining it's just always been there. Like when they were little, he would give my older one a hug and say, who's the best? And demand that they say you. And, one time she tried to give me a hug.
Have your children written you off? They said, I want to go see Mom.
Yes. I've always had full custody. Again, he's very powerful, lots of money. And they just, my 15-year-old is new to high school, so she wants all of this freedom. And you have to earn it, number one. And I need to know these new parents how, their lifestyle is. I need to know where she's going, And
okay, so the girl,
everything.
Help me out here. Help me out. The 23-year-old is out of the house?
She just moved back in from college, but we, with discipline with her too, she doesn't want to hear anything. So he instigated a fight in between us, and she left. Is living with him. The younger one is living with him now.
She's out of the house. I know you're trying to get a lot in right now, but I'm just trying to distill it down to the crux here. She's out of the house, so really, the thing you have to deal with now is how much she buys into everything he said. All right, that's the first thing. The 15-year-old still lives with you, and he gets visitation. Is that it?
Well, he forced me into signing a court order where he's gotten her every single weekend for the last 6 years, and he breaks that. He takes her every single day. I don't get to spend any time with her at all. And so, to me, he's just a bad influence. And
are you asking how to change him or how to change her?
How to change, my children, if that's even possible. I don't want them to change. I just want them to see that what I have been doing is for love and safety for them.
That may not come for another 10 years.
Yeah.
They're going to have to look back on it and say, I didn't like what my mom was doing. I was glittered up by Disney Dad, but now I see. That Mom was the one with the more reliable upbringing than Dad, who just kind of tried to poison me against Mom. And I'm finding out little by little that everything he said isn't all true. And the fact that Mom really was trying to be a good mom, and I realize now he was doing everything he could do to sabotage her. Now, that may not come about until they're 25, 28, 30. Seen that happen a lot. So I think that's kind of what you're playing for. At this point, how much resistance do you get from the 15-year-old when you attempt to have some kind of rules?
Total, almost. And then, the older one will interject, and it's just like a circus. And it's simple things.
Okay, so it's ugly. It's very, very ugly. You have no control.
Yep,
they hate
and
you.
He'll be on the phone laughing.
Okay,
they
hate
laughing
you.
And encouraging.
You got a decision here to make, Mom. I'm not telling you to do this, but you got a decision to make. You may say, this is so untenable, you need to live with your father. I'm not advising you to do that, but I'm just simply saying I think you're going to come to that. Because if you have no control over this kid, if it's nothing but chronic hostility, and he's doing everything he can to make you look like the Wicked Witch.
Oh, yes.
So at that point, you're stuck. You're just stuck. I hate to say that. But right now, this is not a 5-year-old. This is a 15-year-old. The 23-year-old's already left. The 23-year-old said, look, that's why I'm thinking the 15-year-old's going to do the same thing. And I'm sure she's probably already told you, I want to go live with Dad. I don't want to live here. I want to go live with Dad. She's probably said that a million times. Of course.
Yeah.
So given that...
It's easy street there.
It is. Unfortunately, you have to hope. Now you're put into a position to have to hope that at some point they're going to realize that Mom was motivated by a reliable, steady love, didn't try to buy him off, didn't try to poison him against Dad. She was the more mature parent. At some point you have to hope that. But at this point, it's so ugly and it's so conflicted that the longer it goes on, it sounds like the worse it's going to get. Rarely do I think about talking with a parent in therapy over deciding whether to temporarily give up parenting. The situation has to be extreme. It has to be a situation where there is just constant poisoning of the parent by the other parent, who obviously this is a divorce situation. This is not all that unusual. Maybe it's particularly unusual in the sense that it sounds extreme according to what Mom is reporting. For whatever the reason, she can't compete with the materialism of Dad. She can't compete in good conscience with the freedom that Dad gives him. Now, as I said in the call, the good news is sometimes the kids realize that the parent who was spoken so negatively against is not anywhere near as bad in reality as they were led to believe. That does happen. I've seen it happen. On the other hand, unfortunately, in a divorce situation, if the non-custodial parent or even the custodial parent decides to do everything they can to poison the kids against the other parent, in many ways you're helpless. Oh, you can try to dispute it. You can try to be as reliable and mature and stable a parent as you possibly can, but as long as the poison is being injected into their heads relentlessly, some of the kids are just gonna grab onto it. And it sounds like this is what our anonymous caller is dealing with, and it sounds like at this point in her motherhood, she's undercut. That's it. There is. If I were in a situation like that, and again, I'm limited in my knowledge on what she's saying. Again, there are so many obvious variables and complexities, but let's just say that my 15-year-old resisted all of my parenting. I had no authority. If I attempted to assert any authority, she would run to dad. She would simply disobey. Not going to happen. At that point, I would seriously consider, well, rather than our relationship deteriorating any further, I'm going to simply turn over custody to your dad. And hopefully at some point when you get older, you will see that your mom had your best interests at heart. That's what I would probably do in a situation that would be so deteriorated as the one described. A warning. When you get a divorce, keep in mind that if you're the one who wants to leave, for whatever your reasons, keep in mind you are going to lose an enormous amount of control and influence over the kids when they're with the other parent. Dr. Ray, would you recite the poem that won you the Humility Award in 2019? Yeah. Keeping in mind, I did not go to collect the Humility Award. You can't do that. You do it, you lose it. Here was the poem I used. I want to be famous so I can be humble about being famous. What good is my humility when I am stuck in this obscurity? Poem I recited to win the Humility Award. Let's go to Christina from Oregon. Question about her 7-year-old son.
So we thought, because we were preparing her to receive the Sacrament of Reconciliation, we thought maybe this was just kind of triggering some things. She's always kind of run a little bit anxious. I myself have run a little bit anxious, maybe a lot anxious. I'm pretty type A and kind of run our house that way. So we thought, it first started out with she was worried that she was lying. If, she, said that our baby was cute, but she didn't think she was the cutest baby in the world. So she didn't know how to give an answer that was the truth. And so she doesn't want to give absolute answers. And now we're just worried that she's not enjoying her childhood because so many things are a worry, and we don't know what to do with it.
Well, I think you put it well when you said we're worried about her not enjoying her childhood, because that can do it. That can very much do it. When she says something like, Well, okay, I meant she was cute, but I didn't mean that she was the cutest of all babies. I didn't want to say that she was the cutest of all babies, and she's correcting herself, and she's qualifying, and she's over-talking. What do you do?
Then we say, even if you think she's a little bit of a cute baby, then that's the truth. You were just saying she's a cute baby. But she just feels like she can't say at all. She'll just say, sure. So we try and say, even if it's a little bit, not 100%, then you can still give an answer of yes when it's things like that.
Christina, I might go simpler.
But that doesn't satisfy her.
No, that's what I say. I might go simpler because the more you try to reason it out, the more she finds reason to come back. I would say that's not a lie, honey. And that's it.
Yeah,
lie.
maybe we're talking too much at her.
You're making this become a very protracted kind of let me settle you down sort of thing. And in a lot of ways, that can make it worse because then she just focuses more attention on it. Just look at her and say, honey, that's not a lie. And then end the conversation. But Mom, I think it is a lie. I think it is a lie. I think it's a lie. And then you just look at her. Don't repeat. I said that's not a lie. Just look at her. Now, what's this about the germs thing here? She washing her hands constantly? Is she not touching anything?
So the last couple of weeks have been just constantly washing her hands where they're getting,
Don't let her.
They're irritated.
Don't let her.
Yeah, so what do we do about that? Just say she can only do it when she goes to the restroom? Like, what do we do?
That's it.
Okay.
Here's what's happening. She gets anxious about germs. In her little mind, they're everywhere. And you can't see them. That makes them really scary because you don't even know they're there, but they're there, but I can't see them, and I can't do anything about it. I would say, honey, the only way you're going to find out that you don't have to be afraid of germs every day is to not wash your hands. That's it. Now, here's what's going to happen. She's going to sneak and wash her hands. And I think at that point, I might even say, honey, if you go behind my back and wash your hands, I'm going to do something about it. You may have to sit on the steps. Because someone might say, but Dr. Ray, if she's that anxious, we got to get to the root of her anxiety. She's 7 years old. She's got a temperament that is probably reactive. As a result, in her little mind, she can concoct fears. Her latest one is germs. Tomorrow she may have a different one. Latest one is germs. What she needs to experience is that there is no threat by not washing her hands.
Okay.
In her mind, the germs threaten me if I don't wash my hands because I'll get sick. I could die. She needs to find out that worry has no foundation in reality. Now, somebody could say, yeah, well, wait a minute, Dr. Ray. Yes, it does. You need to wash your hands. Good hygiene. Yes, but not what she's doing.
Right.
Not what she's doing. When a grown-up develops a compulsion is basically a repetitive behavior. It's done to alleviate anxiety. There's something about the behavior that takes care of the anxiety that's involved. For example, if I don't check the stove 27 times, my anxiety is going to be that somehow, some way, one of the control knobs is going to be on. A grown-up really has no one to make them stop doing that. Now, they can go to a therapist, or some of them even turn to medication, but in the end, the grown-up will not have to find out that they don't have to check the stove for the 15th time, and they will have the anxiety dissipate. Little kids are much easier to deal with in these kinds of anxiety situations because a grown-up can actually change the circumstances. Mom isn't going to let, and by the way, I called it a son because it just has 7-year-old, as Andrew summarized this, and he knew that this call was from a couple months back and that, in fact, I might be fuzzy in my memory. So I correct myself in the fact that it was a little girl. that when she decided, I'm scared of germs and I got to keep washing my hands, that doesn't in any way alleviate her anxiety. It may for a moment, but all it's doing is the more she washes her hands, the worse it's going to get. This isn't anything that she can fix by washing her hands. The only way she can fix it is by not washing her hands. Now, a grown-up isn't forced by anyone else not to wash her hands. But the little 7-year-old, mom can say, no, we're not going to let you wash your hands. You're going to see that germs are not going to hurt you if you don't wash your hands all those times. Now, mom says, well, do we give her, in essence, a certain amount of times? No, you give her those times that are normal washing of hands, which would be after going to the bathroom or maybe before she goes to bed, but that's it. Now, as I said, I don't know how ingrained this particular compulsion is. If it's ingrained enough, the little one is going to find ways to sneak. And mom's going to have to be vigilant about this for a while until she realizes that I'm not in any danger. I can deal with my anxiety if I don't wash my hands. Didn't get a chance to talk too much about her qualifying everything she says for fear she's lying. But in fact, you got to be careful of getting into kind of these circular, soothing kind of conversations that just further reinforce that kind of insecurity, if you will. I've done some calculating. Those bumper music riffs are about 30 seconds long, right, Andrew? That's what they are. Now, we come back in from breaks about 4 times during the program. So if I let them go all the way to the end before I say anything, that's 2 minutes worth of free airtime on my part. So let's see. The active airtime on this program is approximately 50 minutes. So all I need to do is have 25 shows, 25 programs over 5 weeks, where I allow every single piece of bumper music go to the end, and I will have gotten myself 1 free show. To ponder that. Let's see where we're at. Let's go to Christine is calling from New York. A rather heavy question.
My son told me a few years back that him and his girlfriend that had broke up out of the blue. I was shocked. He told me that he had an abortion. And at the time that he told me, I had asked him, I had gotten the feeling that he had went to his father. Me and his father are divorced. He was violent. He was violent with me and my son. And that's one of the many reasons why we got divorced. So when my son told me, he had obviously went to his father and not me. And he said it was because I was recovering from cancer. And so he didn't want to bother me.
Yeah, wait a minute. Stop. I'm going to interrupt you, Christine. I'm going to interrupt you just for a second. You actually believe that?
No.
He went to his dad because he was going to get the answer he wanted.
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't surprise you, right, that the dad said, look, let's set up the abortion. That doesn't surprise you, does it?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. I think that's what I didn't want to accept.
Well, I can understand you're not wanting to accept it, but in a way you expected it, right? I mean, it sounds like your ex-husband doesn't have the same morals and values that you do.
No, and when my son had told me, I think I went into shock, and I threw up, and I couldn't talk to him, and I feel bad, that I wasn't able to talk to him about it. I don't know why he told me afterwards.
Christine, you don't need to beat yourself up because he didn't come to you. And if you say, yeah, but I wish he would have come to me but it's because you view it as beautifully morally as you do that he's not going to come to you. I mean, it sounds like he probably wanted this, and he had to get some practical help in carrying it out, and also thinking, well, I know how my mom thinks. She's kind of like Catholic religious, and there's no way she's going to allow this, and my girlfriend really wants to get an abortion, and we're not going to be together anymore anyway, and it's all kinds of complications, and this is just the better way to do it.
He didn't want to. No, I have a feeling that he forced her, that he just really intimidated her.
Son or your ex?
My ex-husband. Okay. No, my ex-husband. I think.
Your son didn't stand up to him?
I don't know.
Well, let's take it from here.
What happened when he told him?
Sure. Let's take it from here. So you've long since known that this happened. Has your son talked to you about it?
No, the one time we were on the phone, I couldn't talk to him anymore. I just, like I said, I threw up, and I just said, I can't talk to you about this. I kind of blacked it out and pretended like it didn't happen because I didn't really want to face what he was telling me.
Do you have contact with your son now?
Oh, yeah, I do. And if something triggered my memory about what he had told me. And so now I'm just trying to process everything, and I'm just trying to go through the process like I should have when he first told me. And I didn't know if I should talk to him about it or if I should just let it go because it's...
Well, you can do this. You can do this, Christy. Next time you bring it up, you can ask him, where are you now with all this? As you look back and you saw how it all went down, would you do anything differently? And where are you now? And if he says, I totally regret it. I can't believe I did it. I was pushed into doing it. Then you can help him. You can say, well, if you're still in the faith, the one thing you can do so that you're back in God's good graces, if you will, go to confession. You can confess this. Now, I would also probably explore a little bit if he thinks this is unforgivable. If he would say, I'm going to have to just leave religion because there's no way I can be part of religion after something like that. Now, that's not uncommon. So I would chase that with him. I want to get into where he's thinking right now, 2 years later. I'm assuming the girlfriend is gone, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. He thought they were going to get back together once she had gotten over it, and I tried explaining to him that your good goal would be to help him past any nonsense ideas that he has about not being able to be forgiven, about the church, about morals, about all of that. There is another direction to take this. Obviously, we couldn't explore it. What if the son says, no, I think it's a good thing we did it. We weren't going to be together. There's no way I wanted to be tied to her for the next 18 years. She would be a single mom. So everybody considered, except for the baby, everybody considered this was the move to make. Now, if he goes in that direction, if Christine can do it, she said she was so distressed that it physically made her sick to think about this. Now, some time has passed, and she may be able to somewhat talk about it without getting internally so turbulent. She can explore it with him. Why do you think it was a good thing to do? Do you think that this is ending the life of a baby or not? Now, my guess would be if he thinks it's a good thing to do, or maybe a necessary thing to do, he's going to reflect a lot of the reigning culture ideas about it. It's not a baby yet. This child isn't wanted. Who knows what kind of life it would have? Just a lot of that. And Christine
could talk with him about these things, perhaps because he's never really entertained the whole idea of what's involved in ending the life of a baby in a womb. I personally think he went to Dad because he knew he had no chance with Mom because she's religious, and Dad would put a stamp on it. Maybe even logistically help him and his girlfriend out. All that said, you go to where you're going to get affirmation of what you want to do anyway. Or, as Christine said, he went to Dad kind of mixed about it. Not really sure which direction to go. And then Dad pushed on him real hard and said, this is what you have to do. Now, that said, there's a pretty good chance that he still has some of that reverberating mixed feelings still in him. If he was unsure what to do initially, and it was a moral question for him, interestingly enough, you don't have to have it be a moral question for it just to be a biological question, that this is a human life. And 96% of PhD biologists surveyed, several thousand of them, when asked when does life begin, said conception. So you don't have to be a religious person to say that, in fact, you are ending the very, very earliest beginnings of a human life. So if he had some kind of moral mixed feelings about this, who knows how many of them are still lingering, and she can use that as an opening to ask him some questions about all of this. She could even explore it a little bit regarding his dad's input. Did you feel forced? Keep in mind that the son knows how his mom feels. He's got to know. He didn't go to her, and he was raised by her. So he knows where she's at morally. And he has yet to talk to her about this. What does that reflect? Does he want to just bury it? Does he think that Mom's not going to be able to handle it? Does he think that she'll turn on me, scold me, write me off? What is he thinking about all this? Or is he thinking anything? Is his attitude just, hey, what's done is done, let's get on with life? Maybe for her own peace, because she's still in turmoil, she needs to explore some of these questions. She's been avoiding it up to now. The question becomes, does she have enough emotional stability regarding this to approach it? I'm Dr. Ray.
Don't touch that dial. Dr. Ray will be back.
This is Dr. Ray Guarendi. Program The Doctor is in Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. My website, drray.com, DRRAY.com. It is undergoing revamping right now, but the bookstore is still open with some 18, 19 titles, if you are at all interested in those. I don't have enough time here for one more call, looking at the clock. So I will do, as I oft do, quote C.S. Lewis. The Christian story is precisely the story of one grand miracle. The Christian assertion being that what is beyond all space and time, what is uncreated, eternal, came into nature, into human nature, descended into his own universe, and rose again, bringing nature up with him. Now, I think this is the key line. It is precisely one great miracle. If you take that away, there is nothing specifically Christian left. What? He's saying this, that there's a tremendous amount of moral overlap across all kinds of religions, all kinds of belief systems regarding Buddha, regarding Shintoism, regarding Taoism. They all have their own moral systems, and there's a lot of overlap with Christianity morals. So when somebody says, oh, Christians, these religions are all the same. They're all just the same, you just kind of decide which one you want to follow. You can say Christianity is radically different. Yes, it has a moral system, like many of the others. It is the only one who says its founder is God. And its founder is still alive. And its founder created the universe. It's distinctly different. So anybody says all religions are the same, they're all a path to self-fulfillment or a path to God, if you will. No. They know nothing about Christianity and its central claim, which is Jesus is God. That's what Christianity says. If that is true, then Christianity is infinitely different from any other world religion or philosophical belief system or guru put together moral structure. So C.S. Lewis says, if you take away the fact that the God of the universe became human, there is nothing specifically Christian left. He's saying, yes, much of what Christianity teaches can be found in other religions, but not the fact that God became man, dwelt among us, sacrificed himself for us. I'm Dr. Ray. I thank you so much for joining me here on The Doctor Is In on this Look Back Friday. Good Lord permitting. I'll see you Monday, E-Person Monday. Thank you for keeping me company. Walk with God, because he walked with us.
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit drray.com and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. The Doctor Is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.